This Finance Committee meeting to order. The first order of business is we have a special guest this evening. Mr. Bacoli's back. He had a long respite, and I think he's ready to go, and there's a lot of things to do. Don't mind the tan. He didn't really go on vacation, but he is tan for some reason. We don't understand that, but we're still trying to investigate that. The first item we have is assignment for request for council action. We have for the Finance Committee 2557 budget amendments, 2558 fund advance request for the airport, 2559 and then and now for Centura Co-op, 2560 2024 hazard mitigation assistance grant application, 2561 discussion naming of the 1969 courthouse, 2562 crime and airport liability insurance renewal for travelers, 2563, supply water, city water to 5784 Wadsworth Road. 2564, bids for South Court Water Main Loop, job number 1181. And 2565, donate PCs and cameras to Medina City Schools. We have 2557 budget amendments. We have 25008.
This is kind of a catch-all. There's a lot of stuff in here, but there's a pass-through of a donation. Then there's an advance, which we're going to talk about a couple items down on the agenda. The next one in 109, that's a grant. The airport there, that's the other side of that advance. The two in the 160s, those 160 funds are court funds that are financed by court fees, court costs. The general purpose capital 301, that's for abatement of the asbestos at the courthouse that they're working on. Sanitation, we didn't do carry forward because we didn't have enough money, so they need some appropriations. That's the two in 514, and then the last one is back to airport.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, what's going on? Wait, I think
Okay, I was looking for something. Okay.
Paul's the second guy.
Right,
Okay.
second.
Were you slow on that?
Yes, I was.
All right, he was slow. He forgot what he had to
All
do.
right.
Speed it up.
Okay, Paul. Okay, we have 12. Keith?
I think it's a PD's.
Oh, is this you?
Yeah, it's
I
a
can't tell
pass-through
the
of
signature down there.
$150 donation for the PD.
Oh, okay, I see that. Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 2558, a fund advance request. Now, this is Keith.
Yes, this is an advance to the airport. I mentioned it. It's in the appropriations we talked about. It's for that snow removal equipment.
Okay, questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 2559, the then and now from Centura Co-op.
We actually had a PO for this because it was in December. It was on last year's PO, but these invoices didn't get to us. We paid what we thought was the last of last year's invoices, closed last year's PO, and then these invoices came up, so now it's a then and now.
Questions?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 2560, a 2024 hazard mitigation assistance application grant. Mr. Dutton?
Thank you. Council had previously approved an RFP for the building and planning departments to purchase new software for code enforcement and permitting. After we sent out the RFP, we were made aware of a grant from the Ohio Emergency Management Agency that may be able to assist us in purchasing the setup for the software in the first year of service. So we kind of paused that process, and this is to apply for the grant, which would cover approximately $68,586 of the $91,000 $448 year one cost. This is through the state, but it would be FEMA dollars. Thank you.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Paul?
that software license cost year after year, I know it's going to be recurring, but is it guaranteed to stay at 32, or how's that going to work with this contract?
I think the contract has a 5% increase every year. built in.
5%? Okay.
Any other questions?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, with the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 2025, a discussion on naming of the 1969 courthouse. This came up in our discussions. I think Judge Werner came up, and, you know, the 1969 courthouse currently has Medina County Courthouse in front of it, and I guess we probably should change that because it's not the Medina County Courthouse, it's going to be a municipal courthouse. But I would assume since it's a public building, we have to approve a name that would be on the building itself. So, you know, I think the Judge Werner, and I don't have that in front of me, had something, was it Medina Municipal and County Courthouse Complex? Was that? Yeah, do you have that? Yeah, I thought it was, Kathy, do you have? Okay, anyways, well, we got to think about a name. So I would assume that we want to have something with municipal court in it, because that's what's going to be there. And I don't know, I know in the county courthouse building in the back, it just says Medina County Courthouse. And this one's going to be, the 69 building will be us, but we don't know if it'll be confusing if we just say, you know, Medina Municipal Courthouse, or do we say, I mean, there's got to be some kind of derivation, but it can't be too long because you have to post it on the building.
It says Medina Municipal Court currently across the street, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But I don't know if we want to keep it that, or do we want to call it something different because it is associated with the county courthouse?
Are you talking about the facade facing the square?
Yes,
Right now, it says Medina County Courthouse on that.
right, that's correct.
And in fact, it would be Medina Municipal Court. Now, on the
John, I never heard
entranceway
of a-
off of, pardon?
I never heard of a municipal court being called anything other than the municipal court for
Thank
the
you.
municipality.
That's where I was going, because I'm
It should
reading it
just-
right now.
Should just be Medina Municipal Court.
It's right there.
Right, I agree. But what I'm saying
If
is
it's
if
anything else,
if
it's
they
gonna
want
be
to put,
confusing.
if they want to put courthouse complex, maybe over the entranceway on the Washington entrance, maybe that would be where you want to have the complex word. But because our courthouse is going to be on the square, we make it
Yeah,
as Medina Municipal
yeah,
Court.
I think we
Yep.
need to avoid confusion as much as.
Well, I mean, the only confusion that's going to cause is it's all one complex, and they're going to say, well, where's the county courthouse? Like,
Well,
I
you
get
could
it.
say Medina Municipal Courthouse and Complex.
I mean, that makes sense that it's called that, because that's what it is.
Right, but have that near the entrance, because there's going to be the one entrance
Well,
off of Washington.
Well, at the back, yeah, because when you go in, I'm sure when you go in and you took a look to the left to our entrance, it'll say Medina Municipal Court this way,
Yeah,
through the security
but
check.
it's,
Right, but you go into one security check and then you separate.
Right,
so.
that's right.
But on the outside, along the square, keep it the same, Medina Municipal Court.
Yes.
I would.
Nobody can get in there. Nobody can get in from the court.
Yeah, this would be live.
The doors aren't operable. They don't have key sets. They don't have,
Right, well, it's security reasons.
Yeah,
Nobody-
Right.
They've all got to go through the security at the courthouse, so.
Anyway,
Right.
yeah.
Mayor?
So we did talk about when you come in through the security checkpoint, then having directional signs. That- I do agree that it needs to be labeled Medina Municipal Court, but the other confusion may be that people think if that's the common, because they're going to park in the back generally at
Right.
the deck, if that's the entrance for the county courthouse, they come around the front, but they can't get in because the doors will no longer be there. What will be there will appear to be the doors, so we're not changing the look, but for one thing, there's no access because it's not a security checkpoint. The second thing is it's going to become a hallway and offices, not a method to enter or exit in any fashion, so.
Is there a way, I guess, to have better identification in the back? Because when people come out of the parking deck, they're going to have to cross near the entrance anyways, and I don't, maybe there's better signage that this is the entrance for Medina County Courthouse and the Medina Municipal Courthouse entrance. Maybe we could put a sign in the back there to be very clear that that's the entrance for both of them. But on the front of the building, I think I would agree, we don't want a lot of words. You know, 3, it was probably enough. I mean, it sort of keeps the same kind of look. And it is the municipal court, and I think we should be able to identify it as such, so why don't we keep it with that, and we could just double check. I mean, Mayor, could you just double check with the county to see? I don't think they would care if we have clarifying signage at the entrance. I wouldn't imagine that would be a big issue for them.
Inside or outside?
Well, I think it would have to be outside, so people know this is where you got to go for both.
All the
all the courts.
Right?
That way they wouldn't get confused.
Because people are going to look for that. They're going to look for direction.
Sure, sure. All right, well, we'll keep that on the table, but that sounds like a plan to, keep it simple and keep it as we call it now, so that people know.
Yep.
Okay. 2562, crime and airport liability insurance renewal. Mayor?
So I apologize that we're asking for this with the emergency clause. We've been asking for it since December, and just got it after the last council meeting. So the Board of Control has already approved the airport, but it's the same company that's doing the crime, and the total of the two is just a hair over 20,000, which takes it out of Board of Control. So we wanted to properly run it through finance then, to approve both numbers, which, hold on one second. So it's a grand total of 14, no, that's not right. It's 2-year for the crime, which was recommended by Crane Langner for $14,345, and then Board of Control already approved the airport at $6,000, and those two numbers together add up to $20,345. We would need the emergency clause because our current policy expires on April 1st. So if we pass it tonight, then go to council on March 24th and pass with the emergency clause, we'll be in good shape. We didn't receive the quote until the afternoon of March 3rd. So that's...
Okay. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I was looking at the premiums. If we go for 3 years, I think, I'm looking for those numbers right now, we would save 5% over the life of the 3 years if we did that. And you're saying they recommended 2 years? Mayor?
Yes, sir. I heard the question. I think they recommended the 2 because it was a better value of 3, and probably they didn't know if the city wanted to extend itself beyond the 2. If there's an...
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean the third year, Paul, that the premium would be higher than it is the...
Yeah, I've yet to see any of my premiums go down.
Well, we had some premiums here go down in the city. I mean, it was healthcare related, but
Shut up.
not liability. But, yeah, I guess I don't know. 5% is usually the change in the cost of living that they probably use anyways. I wonder if that just means anything or if they just want to lock us in for another year. I mean, that's the only thing you got to think about. I don't know if it...
Yeah, can we lock us in for a third year on that? That is the question.
Because I think we've already approved the 6,000 for the 2 year, and I think that's probably why the 14,000 for the 2 year was put in there, because they're equal in terms.
I don't think the 6,000 was 2 year, that was 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the crime. They gave us the ability to do multiple years. And really, if we look at what it was when we paid it the last time, was 14,306, and it went up to 14,345. So $39 was the increase
Yeah, I don't,
over 2 years.
Okay, all right.
so I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with keeping it to 2 years. I don't know if there's going to be a big advantage. The 5%.
At those numbers, yeah, you're right. It's not. Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
All right, move to approve with the emergency clause?
Second with the emergency clause?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 2563, supply city water to property outside of the city limits. Patrick?
Thank you. We had a request from a family that's going to be building on Wadsworth Road. It's outside the city. We have city water line on Wadsworth Road in this area. The county does not have water, so the request was to provide water for their future house. Did check with the county sanitary engineer. They don't have any objection to this.
Okay, questions?
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2564, bids for South Court Water Main Loop. Patrick?
Thank you. This is a project that's kind of been on our radar for quite a while. It comes up as a recommended project in our, we do about every 5 or 6 years, a master plan, our water consultant. And it's never been super high, but it's always been a recommendation. The situation is we feed South Court Water Tower from the north only. It doesn't have a backup route. What we need is to connect the water tower to High Point Drive where our water line is there. It's been recommended for redundancy and fire flow. It's kind of bubbled to the surface with this Acme development, so we'd like to do it in conjunction with them. We're requesting the emergency clause because they would like us to be done before the store opens in July. With the emergency clause, we feel we can do that. Without it, I'm sure we wouldn't.
Any questions? And this comes out of the 108, your favorite account.
Move to approve with the emergency clause?
Second with the emergency clause?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2565, a donate the PCs and cameras to Medina City Schools for the IT department. Sergeant Zaremba's not here. Mayor?
On behalf of Sergeant Zaremba, this is some computers from City Hall that were replaced because of, with the age, it wouldn't run the programs that we need. And the cameras all came from the rec center when we put in the new system in January and February of this year, 2 months ago. The advantage of the cameras is the school is still using these cameras, and although they're not, you can't purchase them anymore, they're obsolete, but the parts and the cameras were still functional and could be swapped out to assist the schools until the cameras no longer work.
Questions?
Mr. Coyne, since it's my employer, I'm going to abstain from this, even though we do give some of our used PCs from the city to Buckeye as well as the other district in our city limits, but I think just for the appearance, I will abstain from this one.
Okay, any other questions?
It's asking for the emergency clause. What would be the need for the emergency clause?
I think just to get them off of our books and get them over to the schools so that they have access to them sooner than later.
Okay, all right. Move to approve the emergency clause?
And I second with the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Abstain.
One abstention. Is there anything else to come before finance before we have to recess into executive session? Okay, Jim?
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session at 6:18 PM to consider the purchase of property for a public purpose if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the public interest, to include the mayor and the law director. Anybody else, Mayor? Need a second.
Second?
Clerk, please call the roll.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
We'll be recessing into executive session to discuss what Mr. Shields talked about, land acquisition, reconvening into finance, and adjourning from finance without taking any action of any item discussed in executive session. We are now in recess.